There we go, Hal. I just wanted to let you know that I am periscoping your periscope.
I just jumped over there and was like, Rancid, we require your presence in the podcast channel.
Superb.
It's the Clash Files. It's an epic win. It's the Clash Files.
It's July 23rd, 2015, and this is the Clash Files. I'm joined today by Halligan.
Hello.
And Rancid Meat.
Anyang.
And Natalia's here today, too.
Hi.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Can't complain. Well,
Super.
I could because we're finishing off this push, but besides that, pretty good.
Finishing off.
Yeah,
Finished.
I was done with that push 2 days ago.
Finished.
Yeah, thanks for telling me. You know, I've been still going for 2 days, so I really appreciate the info.
So, Rancid, what are you working on this week?
So far, I've finished all my dark spells, and I started level 4 dragon. I think I've got 10 gull walls left, and then 16 lavas to go after that.
Cool. Halligan, what are you working on?
About the same thing. Was pushing myself pretty hard. Once I got to champs, I was using quad lava Lunion, and that just sucks up so much DE that I was still gaining some, but just not enough to get any heroes worked on. I was banging away at my skull walls rather than working on lavas. So I'm down to 20 skulls left, 189 Legos, and 41 lavas. But beyond that, not too much else going on.
Pushing takes up so much time and resources that really all you can work on maybe would be walls, and that's if you're not using all your gold to next.
Yep.
I'm working on walls and heroes. I did push. I got just past 3,500 and then lost a couple of raids, got 2-starred a couple times and decided to heck with it, and rage dropped down to about gold 2.
That sounds about right.
Nat, what about you?
I've been pushing as well, and I've been able to do maybe 10 or 15 skull walls, so skulls to Legos. I have one builder taking my blower thing to, I think it's like level 3.
Your second one?
Yeah, the second one. Oh, it's going to level 4. That's about it. My heroes have stayed 20-20. I'm sitting right now at about 35-34, and I am no longer pushing. I am just kind of loot farming. So if I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. It doesn't really matter to me. I just want loot.
Well, I would like to just interrupt here and say that you guys never told me that we were stopping any kind of a push, so I made it to 29-34 today, and if I hadn't lost a raid, I might have been in Masters 2, or Masters 1.
Keep going. Do it.
Oh, I'm using Barglebarf. With the Troglodyte deployment, I am using Barglebarf. I'm taking goblins all the way up into Masters.
I swear you just spoke another language.
Well, it is my own language.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's his code name for his crazy random army.
I have a question. Who uses sound when they play?
Me.
No.
Yeah, I know, because I can hear it.
Yeah, we can hear it. We can hear it.
Let's shut that off. No, I love playing with the sound because you get so much more input. The biggest thing, especially now that I've got the poison and I'm worried about clan castles coming out, that's probably the biggest thing right there is you get that trumpet sound or fanfare when a clan castle is
turn it
dropped.
off when you're podcasting.
I'm working on it. But it helps a ton. And so I only do it on my tablet.
I usually listen to music or podcasts whenever I'm playing. I don't feel that it helps me even a little bit.
No, me neither.
Try it. You might like it.
I haven't played with sound in probably over a year.
Yeah, I don't know if the poison spell makes a sound or the earthquake spell makes a sound.
Not a clue.
If they do or they don't, I don't know.
The biggest thing that I notice is the clan castle. So you know when it's pulled, if it's full, like as you're dropping troops, especially during push, you don't know whether the clan castle is full or not. And all of a sudden, if you hear that fanfare and you're not the one that dropped your clan castle, you're like, oh, change focus, get the poison spell ready.
Well, I can generally see when the troops are coming out of the clan castle, so.
If you're looking or paying attention, but I like to
I like to do that when I attack. So.
Just a little bit.
A little bit.
All my attacks are just spam attacks, so all I have to do is watch the clan castle. So, Nat, what's going on in Kent this week?
Let's take a look. Previous war, we won against the Gain Train, 64-54. The Warhammer winner for that went to Andy for 1 3-star attack and 1 2-star attack. I think the 2-star was like a 95%. So he almost got 3. Some really good attacks there. The current war we're up against is a clan called Knots, N-O-T-S. They're a level 6 clan with 127 war wins. And at Colorado11 on Twitter tweeted us a message that said, "At the Clash Files, you ready for a beating?" Well, we are at least, LOL. So we've been tweeting back and forth with them. That's been kind of fun. I do enjoy a lot when a clan contacts us on Twitter that we're warring. I think it's kind of a fun dynamic.
Yeah, it is fun. One thing I want to correct, Nat, is that Andy got the Warhammer for our war against Hass Hatters and then passed it along to Dr. Vent for the war against...
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, good to know that Halligan's on top of it, because I certainly am not.
You've been bouncing
thank
back
you.
and forth between the Kents, so...
I have. It's been crazy. So,
yeah.
Kent has been pushing for the last couple of days or week or so. Today, this morning, I decided to quit. I put in kind of the a message in chat and said, I'm no longer pushing. I'm kind of done. I don't have enough time to commit to actually doing it properly. And I got like 15 messages in the span of 5 minutes that said, yeah, I'm done too. And I'm done too. There was kind of an I could feel this overwhelming sense of everyone getting angrier and angrier and angrier. So we decided to stop the push. We did get to 70th in the US. So way to go, Kent, for a week push. That's phenomenal. I know a lot of Kentians are still pushing for their own personal goals. So totally support that. That's pretty much all I have for Kent news. Ran, I'll take it to you for Kent 2.0 news.
Yeah, so in Kent 2.0, at the last war that we'd started just as we were recording last week was against not the Christians, just Christians.
Like all of them?
I don't know. We smote them 73 to 30.
Way to go.
Nice.
I don't know if maybe they were just of such Christian belief that they could not raise, a sword to their fellow man.
Turn the other cheek.
They
That's
definitely
great.
turned the other cheek at the end because they wouldn't accept any of us to come over and say, hi, thanks for the war. Nothing. Yeah, no, they wouldn't
That's
let us.
not
And I
nice.
tried. A couple others. That Warhammer went to Fox for 6-star attacks. Ron Burgundy had a couple. I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head. I can't, but somebody else had a couple of 3 stars. It was really nice. In the second war that we had since last recording, we were up against Hawkeyes. That was a 74 to 77 for them. So it was a 2-point loss, but we did still really well. We're pulling together a lot of new people, and we're just kind of getting used to, being a warring clan for the fun of warring. Today, we just won our war a couple of hours ago, 77 to 74. In the last 2.5 hours, we were down by about 5 or 6 stars, and we had 14 unanswered attacks that we came back and beat them by 3.
Sounds a lot like
way to go.
Kent coming back at the end there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Way to
a lot
go.
of the same mentality and the same attack strategies are starting to work in. We had some really good teamwork at the end there to pull this off. So yeah, it was really good and a really good win. So like I said, Fox got the Warhammer for the war against Christians. He passed it to Fred and I of Mordor because I is really learning a lot of new stuff, and she did a great 3-star with everybody's help. The current clan is a Korean clan, so I can't give you their name, and I haven't seen a Warhammer picked yet. The only other news that I've got that's really kind of big, we've got Fred is a new elder. Ket the Trow, I'm going to make into a co-leader because I think he's done a really good job with helping out. And we've got I Am Groot visiting from SOAS.
And for those of you that also listen to Randomly Generated, Ket the Trow is the infamous Bob from the Clan with the C that they talk about. So, way to go,
Silent
Ket.
Bob
Randomly
as
generated fame.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. So I called him Silent Bob at the beginning because he, from what Jeremy was saying, didn't really talk a lot. But now he's
Misnomer.
He seems to not have that issue.
No,
he's really helpful with the war attacks and letting everybody know all kinds of new stuff.
He seems to do just fine.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure I
that's,
trust
what-
his judgment, though.
Coop, we're going to have a discussion about Ben Affleck one of these days because I just got to start and end with Daredevil.
Ben Affleck sucks.
No, but that's another day.
That is another day.
Can we say, what was it, Geely?
Oh my gosh, let's not get
Enough
into
said.
it. Let's not. Oh goodness.
Yeah, well, whatever. I really like Gone Girl. I really liked the other one that he won. I don't know what. Oh yeah, he won an Oscar for another movie. So yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Not a ton of news this week, but there were a few interesting things that came out this week. Halligan, what happened in news this week?
Yeah, it was really slow news week. The thing most notable for Clash is that the Clash convention, the Clash Con that's going on in Helsinki, the tickets go on sale. I want to say by the time you hear this podcast, those tickets will be on sale, so we'll know price and availability, all of that stuff. We'll talk about that a little bit later. The K-Fam is kind of putting together a kind of a Riders Cup challenge where they're gathering all the K-Fam members from and podcast members. I think there's some SOAS guys, maybe some LexCorp guys involved in this as well, where they're America versus the world. Well, they've got it kind of versus the Commonwealth, but I think that's just because we're only taking people that speak English. So that's going to be really interesting. I'm not going to be involved with it, but I know that a few of our British brethren are going to be involved. A couple of guys from Australia. I don't know if Vignesh from Project Cadmus got involved with that, but he's Indian. So it's going to be neat to see. It's going to be a good time.
I'm going to be in that.
Oh, yeah? That's right, Ransom.
As far as I know, yeah.
Yeah. So keep us posted on that. Maybe next week you'll have a good report on that one.
Yeah, I really think that the future of the game is these arranged event type things because they put an emphasis on the social aspect of the game, and you have to be involved in a larger community to even know that it's going on. And I've been really happy with the fact that the podcast community has really done a lot of this kind of thing.
For sure. For folks like us that have been playing for a while and are looking for kind of the new thing, the fun thing, this is perfect. The fellas over at Beer Goggles have put on that beer bacon and loons event, which was a blast. They're doing another one coming up here soon for all dragon attacks. Just stuff like this that you get together, you meet members of the community. It's possibly the future of Clash, where you can arrange these type of things. I hope so too. I really hope so too. But then as far as general overall gaming news that may impact Clash of Clans, there was an article that came out in The Verge, which is a kind of a tech e-magazine written by, Andrew Webster, that the world's largest esport group is going to actually start drug testing because there was an Adderall scandal. They were finding out that guys were taking speed to play these games, and they're going to actually start drug testing. Coop, what can you tell us about that?
I just read about it briefly, but I guess one of the champions out of one of the League of Legends events that just wrapped up got interviewed at the end of it. And I don't know if you've watched any of this kind of thing, but the announcers are very animated, and then they have like all these teams from all over the world. It's a bunch of guys that like live in a same house together, and they practice all day, and then they go to these championships. And used to be, you'd be lucky if the top prize in one of these things was like $50,000. But now, if you win one of these, you could be walking away with, upwards of $1 million.
Oh my gosh.
And,
the prize pool for the international, which is coming up in August, the prize pool is $17.2 million.
Right.
What?
So when they went to one of these guys that won, he made just some offhanded comment about, we've all been on Adderall for, X number of days. And, I think they use it to practice. They use it to, play the game. It just kind of keeps all their focus on the game.
That's way too extreme.
Exactly. Right.
Wow.
I mean, it's not at that point. $17.2 million. That's not a game anymore.
No.
That's a job for these guys.
Yeah.
I don't think I read it off Verge. I read it off something else. But, one of the guys that they were talking about that's really high up in this League of Legends and some of these other games, he has an engineering degree. And after a year of working in his profession, he found out he could make more money playing video games. So that's what he decided to do.
Wow.
Jeez. part of the press release that the ESL put out there says, in order to maintain the spirit of fair play within esports, ESL has partnered with the NADA, the National Anti-Doping Agentur, which is headquartered in Bonn, Germany, to help create an anti-PED policy that is fair, feasible, and conclusive, while also respecting the privacy of players. I think that one of the reasons that makes this interesting to me is the correlation that has been made between IMOD, XMOD, and doping in baseball. Because obviously this is different because they're talking about a physical drug that is being taken, but it's against fair play, where you're doing something outside of the rules to gain an advantage. So I thought that was kind of interesting as well.
Yeah, and that kind of plays into, some of the correspondence that we got over the last week. George sent us in a question. Do you think that iMod will take over the game now that there's a version that doesn't require jailbreaking? Do we think that Supercell will take action soon? Rancid, do you think it's going to become a rampant problem, or what do you think?
I think it'll expand. I don't know if it'll become rampant because, again, it takes a little bit more knowledge and research to kind of do what you still have to do. Yeah, I think that you're going to see more of it in the game.
I think it's already, it's unfortunate. And a lot of the arguments that I see, I wouldn't say pro-modding, because I think a lot of people are taking a devil's advocate position, but they say 99% of the people aren't affected by iMod. And I say, no, that's not the case. I'd say that 99% of the people that play this game are affected by iMod, whether it's a random bot attack that you've suffered or, and this is just for loot raids, where you've been targeted because somebody had set the parameters to not stop anything less than 300,000 golden elixir wars. I guarantee you that there's one person in darn near every clan that we face that uses iMod, and it affects everybody in the game. It's not just a small percentage. The small percentage that they're talking about are the ones in these high-level war clans where they're looking for the advantage of either the Town Hall 10 3-star or the Town Hall 9 3 stars, whatever you want to look at it. It really does affect everybody in the game, and the more people that use it, it trickles down throughout the game. It's out there, and it's affecting everybody, and that's the way that I see it.
One point that I wanted to ask just for clarification is that when they dropped the update and created the new league system and all that stuff, didn't they say that the top players would be awarded gems along with the top clans?
Yes.
So there
and
again,
that's a very interesting
people
thing,
have an opportunity to cheat for a decent reward of gems per month, taking that away from other people who have played fairly.
Absolutely. And you go back to George Yao when he got over 4,000 for the first time. He had 6-7 different accounts that he would attack himself for low cups, and there's got to be something that can be done to avoid that kind of abuse, especially when there's cash money, gem money on the line.
Nat, what are your thoughts?
Listen, I don't use it. I have been unaware that it directly affects me in any real way. I'm sure I've been attacked by a spam bot system like Halligan says or whatnot, because I generally am holding quite a bit of loot, but I normally get sniped. So to be completely honest, it really hasn't affected me. I haven't caught anybody using iMod. I think with the type of clan that we're in and the type of clan that I run, I just don't come across it because that's not the type of gameplay that I play. The person that uses iMod and the person that comes to Kent Farmhouse generally are not one and the same. I don't care. If that's how you want to play the game, if that's how you find it fun, I'm sure Supercell is going to do something about it at some point. I don't know when. And when that time comes, you're going to be at the disadvantage.
Definitely.
You know what
Absolutely.
I'm saying? So go for it. Do your thing. I have never been the person that's going to tell somebody how to play the game and you're absolutely wrong and you're absolutely right, because that's not my place. So right now, currently, it doesn't directly affect me. So I don't really care.
Yeah, so generally speaking, I try not to tell people how to play the game, but I think that there are different groups of folks that do this, right? It's a super popular game. there are tens of millions of people that play, probably. I think that, the largest group are people that log into the game, play the game. They might be in a clan. They're not aware of even the forums. I don't think it affects them. I think that there are folks that go the next step and actually pay attention to the forums. So they might have a little bit of knowledge about it, but they pretty much keep it off the forums. So I don't know that I think that it really affects them too much either. I think you've got folks that get on Twitter or watch YouTube. And again, unless you go looking for modding videos, you're not going to find them just running across folks like Chief Pat or Godson or somebody like that. I think the folks that are aware and care about it are A, the people that do it, and B, the people that are on Twitter, because I'm on Twitter all the time and I know what's going on there. And it's been a big to-do for the last 3 weeks to a month probably. Mm-hmm. And the folks that give it a bunch of attention on podcasts. I don't fault anybody that wants to cover it. I think that there are folks that want to hear and want to listen to it. I'm personally against it. I said I don't try to tell people how to play, but I would tell them there's no room in the game for something like this. I do think, however, that Supercell knows about it. If they really wanted to try to detect it, they could. And, if they don't consider it to be a problem, and I don't know that they don't consider it to be a problem, but they don't consider it to be a big enough problem, start banning accounts. And really, to me, that's what should happen. If they know that somebody has done something like this, then they should start banning accounts. World of Warcraft, back in the day, found out about bots and helper programs, and they banned 20,000 accounts in one day.
Yep.
The problem is the folks that are doing the modding are probably the folks that are buying gems as well, so that they can heal their heroes up and go on boosts and stuff like that.
That argument has been made about the top players in the world as well, where they're the ones that are spending money. But it's not. It's the casual, everyday player that doesn't listen to podcasts, doesn't get on YouTube, that finishes off their Town Hall 4 stuff early. Because there's so many more millions of players that start this game and just, they never make it to Town Hall 7. And they're the ones that, because of the volume, that's where the money comes from. Yeah, they would be cutting off some of their revenue by knocking out the modding, because that's what some of the top players in the world are doing. But I don't think that it would affect them as much as people think.
Yeah, maybe not. You're right in that they could do something, but again, I don't think that they think it affects the game that much. I certainly don't think it. I respect your opinion, but I respectfully disagree that I don't think it affects the game that much. Perhaps I have been attacked by a bot. I would have never known it. And if you have 300,000 sitting in your dead base in the collectors, then I would argue that you're not that active of a player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, somebody on Twitter asked the question, so the groups of clans now in the game, are they the clean clans, the don't ask, don't tell clans, and the clans that mod? And I would argue that it breaks down into two groups, and that's those that play clean and those that aren't good enough to.
All right.
I like that.
Yeah.
So, we got a bunch of other questions, and we got one. We'll come back to another subject that we're going to talk about, but we got one, since we're on this subject, from Brian Tipton, who's TipDog20 on Twitter. And he asks, do you think that a non-modding WC league will be successful? And before I can answer this question, I need somebody to tell me what TWC stands for.
Yeah, what is TWC?
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
I have no idea.
Okay.
No, it's Top War Clan.
Top War Clan. There we go.
It's that group of 25 or 23 that is cracked and ranked and such that are all, at this point, accused of having
modders.
Some, if not all, modders in it.
And I think that's important, right? They're accused of it. Nobody knows if they do it. I think everybody at this point kind of assumes that they do. But if you come right down to it, we have two clans. We could have people modding in our clans. There's no way for us to know it.
No idea.
There's no way for us to determine if they're going to. That's the other frustrating thing about modding is I've posted dozens of screenshots to Twitter or Line or different places like that, and it would be super easy for somebody to Photoshop one of those, put the little
modder button.
in the corner and say, "Oh, look, our Cooper Katie mods."
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that happened to one of the top players, the top female players, Raisin. Somebody got her account banned during a war because they photoshopped a base that wasn't hers, but was something that would definitely get you shut down for a couple of days.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
That was during that boys versus girls war, which I thought was going to be just a great fun time. And for the most part, it was. I didn't catch any of it on Twitch, but what I saw from it was a great time. But somebody got her banned for photoshopping.
That's so unbelievable.
It was awful. And I think that they lost by 2 stars.
Yeah, they did.
So it's ridiculous. So
way to go, chickadees, though.
Yeah, right on.
Way to hold on.
Right on.
And I'm sure that if one of those boys didn't ban the girls because they were so afraid that the girls would have won, you guys would have killed it. So
yeah, good job all around.
Way to go. Besides
that low blow.
Not cool.
Thought that was garbage. And if they're going to ban somebody for that, then why don't they ban somebody for something that they have the ability to check on their server end? So I don't know. I think that a non-mod, so to speak, Top War Clan League could be successful because it could be fun.
I don't think you could do a non-mod Top League. How would you know if they're not modding? How would you know if they were modding?
Good point.
That's not something that you can control.
So I think you make a good point there.
And that's sad.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, it is. I think that unfortunately or fortunately, you got to go on the honor system and just be sure that you know who you let into that kind of a league, or to the best of your ability. I think it could be successful. I think it would, by definition, be successful if it got any attention, because it would be putting a line in the sand, I guess, on, hey, we don't think it's right to.
I think you're right.
Clans be cheater clans.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it could be successful. But then again, I feel like when anything starts to become successful, especially within this community, when anything starts becoming real successful, that's when you start getting those people that are trying to cheat the system, and they always find their way in.
Yeah.
They always do.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Success breeds that,
I just don't think that that's something you're going to be able to prevent. Even if you know the clan, hey, this is a clan I've been in, I've known these guys for however many months, or I've known this clan for a year, these guys are like super clean players, they're awesome. And then they let those, 2 or 3 people in because they're new members and they're modders. I mean, you just don't know.
I got to say this because actually Rob brought this up on Periscope, that the Supercell has the ability to check and see who's using third-party software. Don't do anything about it, but they banned the guy permanently for life that leaked the update stuff.
Wow, that sucks. Don't leak update stuff. Do it.
But according to Supercell, you can go ahead and mod, just don't leak.
I think that so again, I'll respect his opinion. But how's he know that? Because Xmod is a client-side program that would be easy to argue your way out of that you don't use it. I mean, I know that when I'm really involved in farming, when I didn't have any family with me and I was farming, I was hammering that next button pretty robotically. You know what I mean? Like I was just hammering it as soon as I could tell whether or not there was loot or not.
Coop just admitted you are a machine.
Yeah. I was when I had anything better to do. And so, I mean, I don't understand. I guess I don't understand the assertion without having, maybe he has a friend that works at Supercell. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think unless
that they can check it.
I think unless Supercell comes out and legitimately says, hey, we have a way to see who mods, who uses third-party software, get rid of it or we ban you. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how they would do that, but I feel like unless they come out and say something like that, it's just all guesses.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've hit the nail right on the head, Nat. Everything is in Supercell's right now. They choose to not say anything about it. And I think that even if they addressed it in some way, then all of this back and forth goes away.
Yeah.
Because then we know, okay, they are working on it. They understand it. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. say it's okay, or we say that it's not okay. Cut it out. We're going to ban you. It's really in their court.
Yeah. So that's that.
Yeah, I mean, I think they probably are working on it. One of the other things that HipDog20 wanted to know was, if there were to be a second Top War Clan League, how would the current one respond? And personally, I don't know that I think that they would. They would either take the stance that, these guys are just the also-rans and we're still top of the heap, or they would just start going into denial mode.
I agree. I think that they would ignore it, wouldn't pay any attention. They'd take the I'm better than you attitude anyway.
I feel like that's right.
So, Man vs. Merrick, who was recently on the Clashcast, has a kind of a palate cleanser question for us, I think, to get us to the next topic. And that's, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? I know the answer to this question, but
me too.
Rancid, what do you think?
Oh, 4, and then you crunch it to get to the Tootsie Pop, and then you throw
3.
the stick at your brother, and that's it. Oh, I'll save it for 4.
3.
A 2, a 3.
That's right.
I don't eat Tootsie Pops. I do the blow pop situation.
See, now
they're good too.
Just saying.
Good, but do you chew the gum when you're done?
Yeah, of course.
And
then you blow bubbles like you're 12 years old.
No, I can't do that. I just eat the gum.
You swallow the gum?
I just eat it. I think I don't know why.
No.
Like, it's super slimy, that gum in the middle of it. Blow Pops is like too slimy. It's not real
no.
gum.
Double Bubble and Big League Chew are the same way. They start off really slimy. You just want to eat the big wad of it.
I love the bubble gum in the middle.
When I was a kid, I was sure that I ate a lot of gum.
So you've been going for colonics ever since you've been an adult, then?
Oh yeah, you got to clean it out of there somewhere.
Oh, jeez, Louis.
I do have a baseball hat that's got the owl from that commercial.
Oh, do you?
Yes, I do, and it says, How many licks does it take? So, a little double entendre.
Hey, so we got a question from Sins, who's at Savage Sleuts on Twitter, and he wants to know, in our opinion, what defines an elite war clan. And I'm going to go ahead and, on top of that, what do we consider an elite clan? Nat, what about you?
Oh, we were talking about this earlier, actually. My definition of an elite war clan is a clan full of narcissistic people who consider themselves elite. I feel like that's the only... I don't know. I don't consider myself elite. I don't really consider any clan elite. I just consider... this clan, One Hive, is, One Hive's good at war. Farming Kings, I think they were a clan at one point. I think they may still be, or something else. They were good at farming. I never think of a clan as an elite clan. So, yeah.
What about you, Hal?
I think that the elite moniker came because they were recognized. And that was through the forum system where they were tracking wins, what have you. And this goes back to our earlier conversation. Once they started gaining success, then that's when the other stuff crept into the game. But elite really, it doesn't mean much.
I hate the word elite. I hate
absolutely.
It.
And it's just because of notoriety. I think One Hive is going for their 200th win. And this clan that we're facing in Kent has got 180, 179, something like that.
125.
No, I thought they were more than that. Well, regardless.
It's like 125, so definitely.
No, it's like
not.
125.
So definitely not on that level.
125. But we've gone up against a clan that's around 180.
That's what I was thinking is the Fire clan. That they are not recognized as elite.
They're not even known.
They're not even known, exactly.
No.
It's
That's
the
the
notoriety that breeds that quote-unquote elite status.
That's right. These guys that consider themselves elite and slap each other on the back and try to go hunting each other.
On the back. They slap each other on the butts. Let's be honest.
You're right. But they go hunting each other and they try to beat this guy or that guy. You know that there has to be Chinese clans, Indian clans, clans from non-English speaking places that don't know or don't care about this forum post that proclaims these different clans elite. I mean, elite has become a dirty word to me. I think Hint is an elite clan, and I think they're an elite clan because it's a bunch of good guys and girls.
Amen. Elite at everything.
That's right.
Let's claim that. We'll claim the elite back for ourselves.
No, I don't want to be considered elite.
I think any clan that has as many wins as any of these elite clans had when they were declared elite can then call themselves elite as well if they choose to do so.
Nice.
So, clans, if you want to be elite, then get like 100 wins and put elite in your clan description, and you're now an elite clan.
No, clans, officially. If you want to be elite, just start calling yourself elite. It's that simple. I mean,
also works.
You don't need 100 wars. Just start calling yourself elite.
I like it.
Yeah.
So lots of war talk and lots of cheater talk and what defines an elite clan, but we're Kent Farmhouse, and we started as a farming clan, and now I think we're really still a farming clan.
Yep.
But we can throw down if we need to.
Yep.
And so we have a couple of questions regarding farming, and then maybe we could just talk about farming for a few minutes. Phoenix from LexCorp, if I'm got a really screwed up spelling on that name, so I hope I'm getting it right. And also Jeff, who is Lost Chaka06 from Twitter. They both have a similar question in that they're farming in Champs 3 with Town
Good
Hall
for
9.
you.
Yeah, I know, with Town Hall 9 Lunian. How do we recommend handling Inferno Towers with no freeze? So we have a couple of Town Hall 9s. Branson, you're still Town Hall 9, right?
Yeah, but he's never been to Champs.
Nope, Rand's out.
So
and I don't use loons.
Rand's out.
So Halligan, you were farming or pushing in Champs 3. How did you deal with Inferno Towers?
Well, it's a completely different ball game. When I was pushing, the farming aspect wasn't really there. I would look for loot. I would look for cups. And it's funny because just tonight with the call off to the push, I've switched to farming mode. It's tough because I've been looking for the cup offers for so long. When you next and you're looking at, okay, this is the base, kind of glance over and see this is the cup offering. It's a weird transition from looking at the cup offering to looking at the loot, because when I'm normally farming, I don't care what the base looks like. I just hit next and I see what the loot offer is. Then I will check the base to see whether I can take that loot. So I switched from using the quad Lavalunian. Well, I guess it would be Lavalunian because I'd have minions in the CC. But it was 20 balloons, 4 pig dogs, and then CC full of minions just for cleanup and getting the loot. So I switched from that down to 2 lava hounds and the minions because you can get so much more loot that way because they're along for the cleanup. You're not relying on the lava pups. And now I'm back to just straight Lunian, where I'm using 24 balloons, 50 minions, and then a CC full of minions. And I'm transitioning myself back to looking for high offerings in loot, whether it's over 2,000, 2,500 DE. Up here in Champs, because of the win bonus, anything over 200,000 is great. And I'm looking for full collectors. I'm looking for easily accessible storages. And I'm still trying to avoid the Inferno Towers. The best thing to do, and I'm not sure whether they've upgraded their Dark Spell Factories where they've got the Rage yet, but the Rage spell is key because you can get them.
Or haste.
You mean haste?
Haste. Yes, I'm sorry. Haste spell is because then you can use those on the edges and then the Rage spell to get to the Inferno Towers. Once your balloons get towards that center, if you can rage them, that's about the only thing that you've got to take care of those Inferno Towers as a Town Hall 9.
I think one of the strategies you can definitely use is try not to engage both at the same time.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Like you're going to want to come in on one side or the other and try not to get 10 of your loons getting hit by Infernos at the same time.
Yeah, especially if they've got them either on either side of the Dark Elixir storage or either side of the Town Hall. If you can come in where you're only hitting one of them at a time, that's perfect.
And really, when you're doing Lunian and not Lava Lunian, if you can find bases where the Inferno Towers are set on single, I've had some success
Oh, absolutely.
Because when they adjusted how long it took to retarget on single, it became a little bit easier to hit those.
And especially if you've got your minions right in behind your balloons, then that gives something else for the single target infernos
Exactly.
to latch onto, giving your balloons a little bit more chance under that rage to knock them out.
I know when I was farming in Champs as a Town Hall 9, I would use Balloonion. I started taking all rage. When I was pushing, I started taking all rage. But before that, when I was farming, I would take 2 rage, 2 heal. And I know that kind of sounds crazy against Inferno Towers, but if you drop your heal outside of the range of the Inferno Towers, it keeps your balloons and minions alive long enough for them to get in, so you can then rage the balloons to the Inferno Towers. And I had a lot of success with that as well.
I think that's a great point because heal is kind of underutilized with loons. I know I was talking to, I don't know if it was Bisp in the clan. One of our Town Hall 8s was wondering the best way to push with his level 5 balloons. And heal is huge with level 5 balloons.
Yeah.
As opposed to the rage. They just don't have the chutzpah.
They don't have the lifespan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The max balloons have. So that heal makes a big difference. And like you said, Nat, even with the max balloons that have that extra health,
yeah,
if you can keep them at max until they hit the infernos or after they've hit the infernos, you can heal them up then. That's huge. And heals take less time to cook.
Yeah, so that's always really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my advice on pushing a Town Hall 8 with level 5 balloons is just don't do it.
Just don't. That's not a good idea.
Like made a wet Kleenex.
No.
Mr. Psycho Rocker really impressed me that first push that I was ever on.
But Bisp is in Masters 3 now, I think, though, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I think he's might be in 2 at this point. I'd have to open up my game and turn the sound on.
Well, either way, I'm impressed.
So getting into Town Hall 8, I mean, it's fun to talk about farming in Champs at Town Hall 9, and Town Hall 10 farming is certainly its own animal, but most of the players that play the game don't play at that level. They're playing at Town Hall 7, really, Town Hall 7 and 8. So if we could think back for a few minutes, how did we approach farming at Town Hall 7 and 8? And Rancid, why don't we start with you?
My mini is at a 6 right now, and it should be probably a 7 in about another week and a half. So I can tell you that at 6 at least, I'm still using Giants and Barch. I'm not bothered with any healers because they take so long to brew. At 7, I started using some goblins along with the barbs and arch, but was still going a very giant wizard heavy type army. And I was using the healers back then. Into 8, I started reducing the amount of wizards and adding more giants and adding a few more barbs and arch as my camps sort of grew because they were cheaper to make. They were a little faster to make. But, you know, I still found that I like the meat shield type attack.
Halligan, what about you?
I think I've said before where I started using balloons, I want to say at Town Hall 6, 7, only because I knew that I was going to get everything. I'd have to look it up to see where I got level 4 balloons because that's when I started using strictly balloons. Up until that point, it was Barch, maybe Jai Barch a little bit in order to get as much loot as possible. But at Town Hall 6, 7, using a massive amount of loons. I mean, you had to use 28 at that point, but you'd get everything. You could come across a base that had hundreds of thousands of resources and you knew you were going to get it, as opposed to how I felt when I was using giants and barbs and archers, that my meat shields were going to go ping up in the air off of these spring traps. And I wouldn't get anything. So that was my way of doing it, at least at Town Hall 7, if not at Town Hall 6, is go to the air, man. Way less traps up there, and they do way less damage.
Yeah, when I was Town Hall 8 and below, all I did was Barch. Like, I remember it vividly. I looked for collector raids and barched. If it was in the storages, I just left it alone. But yeah, I rushed so bad when I was that low of a town hall that all I really had to use were barbs and archers and maybe goblins. And I was so jealous of loot. There's no way I would spend what it took to make a giant or a wall breaker.
Oh, yeah, no way.
Nat, what was your experience?
So I have an alt that said very, very, very low level Town Hall 8. And I still barch. I mean, barbs and archers. That for me down there is still the best bang for your buck, even though they've upped the price. I don't think you can barch nearly as effectively at a higher level as you can still at a lower level. So that's my suggestion. I have been throwing in a couple giants here and there, but I still think barch is your best bet. There's just so many collector raids, and it's just so easy to find loot down there.
Yeah, because it's really, when you're that level, I think farming is more trying to find where the abandoned accounts go when they're abandoned, right? Like how far down do you think they're going to get? And then just look for collectors because they're all over the place.
They're just everywhere.
Yeah. ClashForDummies.com, which is actually a pretty good site as far as advice and that kind of stuff. I'm going to go back to their Town Hall 8 Balloonian composition. They've actually got some really good advice on how to build your army as far as what you should fill each barracks with in order to maximize the amount of raids that you can get. And because I go back to balloons all the time, they're talking about a Town Hall 8 using 24 balloons and 40 minions, setting it up so that you've got those 24 balloons mixed between your 4 regular barracks and the 20 minions in one dark barracks, 20 in the other. I'd actually, because those are only level 5 balloons, I was using 28 balloons and then less minions and then healing the balloons the entire way. And I disperse them quite a bit differently than I do with the max loons, where I would 2-finger drop them because I wanted them to stay together and stay within those heals.
But the problem is when you're farming, for me at least, I don't want to use spells. Spells are expensive.
Yeah.
I want to stay away from spells if I can.
When you were doing all this farming, were spells elixir?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Because, spells
They used to be gold. Yeah, they used to be gold.
So if you took spells into farming raids, it was a loser proposition most of the time.
Wow, that's before my time. Spells were
yeah,
always
they used to be
elixir
gold.
in my time.
Yeah, I remember the update when spells became elixir.
You old timers.
Back in my day.
Back in my day.
We paid for spells with gold. Hey, we got another question. It's kind of farming related. It's from King Tut, and he emailed this question in. And he wanted to know, first of all, he said it was great to hear from a farmer's perspective on everything Clash. And his question was, does anybody know if the earthquake spell triggers any of the ground traps like spring traps or giant bombs? And Tut's in House of L.
Rancid, do you know?
Yeah, from all my experimentation with Earthquake, it doesn't trigger the clan castle, it doesn't set off troops, it doesn't do anything other than the damage to the buildings and walls that are hit by it. Just like lightning doesn't draw CC or draw any traps, expose any Teslas, it doesn't do the same either. I was hoping it would. Really had my hopes that it would draw the CC because I thought that would just be a beautiful draw. You can do damage and get the troops out and then get them over to where you need to be, but no luck.
It's really good at knocking walls down, though.
It is, yeah.
If you're barching and you don't mind spending a little bit of dark elixir, just tank up on the earthquake spells and you can walk right into the middle of a base.
Yeah.
There's a couple of ways that I've been using it in my farming. First is to drop all 4 spells onto one spot to create a fairly big hole. If you want your troops to fan out and kind of swarm the base with, maybe a Barch and Giant type raid. If you want to get your troops to go into the center, what I've been doing is using the earthquake spells in a wider area so that I only have a small crossover of all 4 spells. So I may only break 2, maybe 3, or sometimes even 1 wall section because it's covered by the 4. All the buildings in the area are taking a massive amount of damage, and I'm reducing the hit points right now by 10%, which is a lot of time gained, and hit points on my heroes, hit points on the Valks, things like that are going into the center.
Yeah, I think it's a great spell, and it was one of the ones that I really didn't, I wasn't sure that I thought it was going to be any good at all. Definitely not like haste.
I love haste.
I have not used haste.
Yeah, my haste is level 1, so it's not any faster than a rage. So I still don't know.
You gotta upgrade that, Coop. I'm telling you, I'm so sad that I can only get it to level 2. It is awesome.
Well, now that I'm farming again, it's one of the things that I think I'm going to work on. I think that these dark spells, one of the reasons why we got them was to slow the game down a little bit. Hey, so we did get one other question, and it was from @GrayLexCorp, and they want to know, what do we think PEKKA stands for? Halligan, what do you think it stands for?
I don't care, but I do know that one of the best goalies in the NHL is named Pekka Rinne for Nashville Predators, although can't stand the Predators.
Fail.
Go Blackhawks.
That's not what PEKKA stands for.
And I gotta say that, hey, if he's as good a troop as Pekka Rinne is a goaltender, then gotta love him.
Fail. And it's a her, by the way.
So thank you for
That's
the obscure 5th most popular sport in North America.
Yeah, not at all popular.
Natalia, do you have a better answer for this
I
question?
do. I think PEKKA stands for the things that she likes to eat. So pickles. I couldn't come up with an E, so I said eats.
Eggs.
Kimchi. Eggs. Okay. Pickles, eggs, kimchi. What's another K?
I don't
Kale.
know any words that
Kale
start with K.
and apples. There you go.
What a diet.
So,
Pickles, eggs, kimchi, kale, and apples. There you go.
wow. I apologize to Gray LexCorp for the
Solved.
answers to that question.
You got
Solved.
an idea, Rancid?
Well, I just had it there.
Fail.
Yeah, big fail.
More kale.
Some brain food or something. I have no idea what it stands for and don't really care that much.
Primarily erratic clan killing anomaly.
I'll buy that.
No. I like mine better.
What?
You couldn't come up with eggs.
There are no foods that start with E.
I couldn't
I'm
think
surprised
of
you
one
found
on
2
the
K
spot.
foods.
I know. Eggs was
That's
perfect.
like
jerks.
lying with orange.
K's.
Okay. Moving on.
You know what we got a lot of feedback on over this last week in emails and in Twitter? Matt's joke. Matt didn't tell a joke in the last episode.
I know.
And
People were distraught.
People are mandating.
They were distraught.
It's like you got 70% of the vote in a presidential election. You have a mandate for that joke now.
I know. They
So-
were upset. So I have a good one this week. I found a real good one. The joke this week is, what did the archer say to the handsome barbarian?
What do you say?
Anybody?
What'd she say?
You make me quiver.
I like that one.
See? Yay! I got a laugh.
Excellent.
Oh,
That one's pretty good.
That one's good.
Oh.
It was
had-
good.
Who
Stop
had
it,
shout-outs
Halligan.
this week? Awesome. Rancid, who are your shout outs?
I am going to shout out some of the Co's and the elders in K2 just for their big support and stepping up in the last little while. The 5th of November, we've got Jezza, Adam A. Bear, Grumpy Troll, Fred, Sith Lord, Ket the Trow, M, Box, and I think that's it for now, but look for a few more as people help out. Oh, okay, yes, I forgot Natalia, but she's like grandfathered as an elder leader kind of thing.
Anyway.
While you're visiting, do I have to give up the leader position? Or
I
do get to keep-
mean, no,
No.
you don't.
Halligan, your shout outs this week?
I want to shout out Dr. Vent, who is a new member in Kent Farmhouse. He came to us from Cosmopolis, who, if you go back to, I want to say episode 3, we talked about beating them in war, and I went over there and chatted with the guys, great guys over in that clan. We beat them they had a crazy win streak going on during that point that we broke. So he checked out the podcast, liked what we were all about, and joined up to Kent and has been killing it. Real active in
Great
chat.
member.
Yeah. Just real good guy. Glad to have him aboard. Just great attacks this war. Real deserving of the Warhammer. So I wanted to shout out Dr. Vent
We'll be expecting more members of Cosmopolis be heading our way.
Could be.
Anytime now.
Yeah.
Natalia, what about your shout-outs?
So my shout out also goes to a new member of Kent Farmhouse this week, and that is Swoop 4. Swoop was actually found on Global by the one and only JP. I guess JP hopped on Global, said hey, and Swoop hopped on and said, I know you. And Jay was all, that's weird. And he said, no, I know Kent Farmhouse. I listened to the podcast. And then Jay was like, well, if you know the password, come on in. And next thing you know, it Swoop said, I believe. And he's been in the clan and he's been a great member. So yay for Global on occasion.
On rare occasions, you pick a winner.
On occasion.
Yeah, I mean, we still enjoy it. Just a great amount of support through Twitter and through the different podcasts. It's been great. My shout out this week is going to reference back to something we talked about earlier today, and that is there's this thing called the ClashCon that's going on in Helsinki, Finland. I want to say it's first weekend in October, maybe the second weekend in October. We expect there to be lots of news, and they'll probably have special guests. A bunch of the folks that we watch on YouTube and see in the Twitterverse will probably be there. And we would love to be able to cover that. And so one of the things that we've done to try to get one or more of us over to Finland was set up a website at www.gofundme.com/theclashfiles. If you go there, you'll see that it's a fund that's set up to try to get some or all of us over to Helsinki. In the coming days, we'll be posting some updates that will describe some rewards or perks folks want to donate to that cause. And about 15 minutes after we posted that site internally to the Kent Farmhouse guys, Brian Nauman donated to that website. And so I just wanted to say thank you to the inaugural donor. We would sure appreciate it if you enjoy the podcast and want us to get some live coverage over in Helsinki and talk to some folks that are in the Clash community and be able to bring you whatever news comes out of that ClashCon. Then you can head over to gofundme.com/theclashfiles and donate.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
My passport is ready, people.
Yeah, we'll have to get into that later. You can find us at www.theclashfiles.com or follow us on Twitter at theclashfiles. Subscribe to us on iTunes, or you can find us on Spreaker or Stitcher Radio, or you can subscribe through the RSS feed on the website. If you have a question, like a lot of the folks tonight did, or comments on the show, you can tweet us or email us at hosts@theclashfiles.com. We'd also appreciate any comments or 5-star ratings in iTunes. That helps us get higher up and lets other people find the show. That's our show for today. We hope you enjoyed listening. This Clash File is now closed.
As always, the Clash Files is produced by me, Rancid Meat, and we'd like to give a big thanks for all the support in helping us try and get to ClashCon in October. Have a great day, and we'll be back soon.
Terrible as at my base, and my hero's a disgrace. And check from one I thought again. Will the warring ever end? But then I flipped my iPhone on, and now I coop at hell on. And Rancid 2. It's the Clash Files. It's an epic win. It's the Clash Files. They give a piece of shot again. Whoa. Clash is out there. Clash is out there. Yeah, yeah. Well, the struggle is surreal. At least that's the way I feel. To find a new refreshing cast, I think I found one at last. 'Cause when I flip my iPhone on, It's an epic win. It's the Clash Files. They're gonna be so short again.